Are you ready? Are you excited? And remember, it doesn't matter where you go or where you'll be. Just don't forget to bring your tea. And that's total empowerment and anointing. Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Tea Talk with Tanya. I'm so excited to have our very special guest on today, none other than Mr. Montel Jones. Mr. Jones, I'm so happy that you took time out of your day to be with us on today. And I know that you do a lot of great things in the entertainment world. I understand that some call you a mega entrepreneur.
Oh, wow.
But one thing I know that you do, you have a company that you run, but just for our audience that's getting the first take of, you know, who you are, tell our audience on today a little bit about the infamous mega entrepreneur, Mr. Montel Jones.
Let's see, Montel Jones, born and raised in Kansas City. You know, that's where I'm at. Been in the music industry, film industry, commercial industry, whatever that is, industry for the past 30 years. So I'm an old dog in this thing.
An old dog.
Old dog, way back in Himalayas thing.
Oh, Himalayas, that part back.
Way back there.
Okay. So, Mr. Jones, I know that you have a company that you run and that you're very proud of and being partnered with called OnTelVision Media.
Yes.
So tell us about what that is and what do you do there with the company?
OnTelVision Media, it started off as a network back in the day when Roku started. We were doing a partnership with Roku when they first started. And so I didn't do the television thing when I found out it was work. And so the media part of me comes from the industry itself. And that's marketing, promotion, social media, and branding. And it's also the music industry, film industry, whatever industry it is, that's what we do. We handle the media itself, which is the data system of the world. That's what we do.
Okay, and tell me a little bit more about how that actually works. So if somebody was interested in building their brand or their company, and they were looking for a resource to help them grow their presence, how would your company be able to help with that?
The first beginning of it is branding. It's your name. It is the brand. It's not the product. It's the brand, which is you. Right? The name itself and color scheme, which is called intellectual properties. Right? For everybody that doesn't know that part. And it's tied into the data system of the world, which is Google is the data system. It runs off of zip codes, right? So we're running SEOs, Google targeting, Google imaging. And what Google imaging is that we see it all the time. If you Google Walmart, Best Buy, Home Depot, the images show up. So which is the brand. You follow me?
Gotcha.
Walmart's blue, Best Buy is black, Home Depot is orange, right? And it's solid colors. They're not psychedelic. Right? So it's the brand. And so that's the beginning of your business. That's where we start.
Okay, so if a person was like struggling on trying to create their brand, was that something that your company would offer also? Like trying to help logo designs and things of that?
It's a consulting system that we design. So you can start from scratch. You can sit here and say, this is my business, and we'll have you up and running and moving in 3 months.
In 3 months,
3 months,
so from start to finish. So like for a client that might come in and, you know, it's like, hey, you know, Mr. Jones, I have this great idea of creating a business for myself and creating a brand and a name for myself. Can you kind of walk me through that process? Like what are the first steps in helping that individual or that client actually solidify their business model and the next steps to help grow their business?
Okay, this plan is designed for pretty much anything because it does start with the brand. And then the brand is called bullet points inside of your brand, right? Okay. So we say your cup. This is your business, right? So we say tea talk, right? So we take this in this conversation of tea talk. So this is a cup. So we design this inside of every system that has something to do with a cup. The color scheme, the sizes, the hoop, that whole thing, because you're selling a cup, right? But then I see on here you have a lady on here, right? Then we brand you inside of the women's organization. It's a women's cup. See that?
Right.
And then you design inside of it. It's called fitness. It depends on what your show is about, which is a diverse show.
Yes, it is.
We take you, put you inside of fitness. We put you in the food section of it, the TV section of it, the music business of it, the film business, whatever it is that you want to talk about and discuss. We take your company and put inside of the whole world's core.
Wow.
Yeah, the hair business, the makeup business. When you talk about talk shows and you design it that way, it's everything. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody. So that's what I do first.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's called the bullet points.
The bullet points. Okay, so then what would be the next step from there?
For the bullet points is the color schemes of your system, right? It's putting you inside of the system of the data system.
Okay.
So when somebody looks you up, you want to show up inside an image system. Because the average person doesn't believe it in the first place. Right? And then the name itself. If you look up Pepsi, you'll see different color schemes and different systems and sizes of Pepsi. Right? And you have different sizes. You ever looked inside of a system and you say, you know what, I want to use that image, but the image is too small. So you say, wait a minute, let me find a bigger image. So Google says you have to upload 16 images, 16 of the same image, 16 different sizes.
Wow, just to be able to filter through the search process?
Yes, because you have to understand, everybody wants to be big, right? I want to be large. But then you don't do what Walmart do.
Right.
You don't do what Mary Kay do. When we look for those logos, we look for 300 by 300 or 57 by 572, 578. We don't want a 287. The logo's too small to use, right? So those are the things you have to do. We put it, we embed it inside of the system so somebody can find you.
Right.
It's finding. Did that make sense?
That totally makes sense. Okay. So marketing is definitely a good passion for you and definitely a necessity for every business owner.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes. And funny thing is that for some reason, it's the last thing. This is what happens. A person gets, say, $100,000 and you say you're going to do a salon. The first thing the person does is starts with the painting, then the floors. I gotta get my chairs, I gotta get my stuff, and they get all this stuff that everything's beautiful. Problem is, don't nobody know. Only on your grand opening. Because now you need to repeat customers. How do you do that? By the time you run through $50,000 to $75,000, you know what your marketing budget is? $1,500. How are you able to scale? You did $75,000 in beautifying the place, and you say $1,500 to market your business. You cannot scale. It will never happen.
So would you agree in your experience that if you put the right amount of effort and financial back into the marketing piece, that everything else will kind of
falls into place.
It falls in place
because you want a residual income.
Yeah.
Which is called a residual business.
Okay. Yeah. So talk about that a little bit, like the structure of that. Like
the structure of that is if you want to repeat customers, you have to be repeat business, right? And because that's what I did when like one of my songs, right? 04 I released something, and 18 years later it's still a hit, only because I designed it that way, right? So you have to follow suit on who did that. That's all. You just follow suit. 18 years later, I can still walk in the door and still get the same pay or more pay than I got in 04. How is that possible? I just market myself. Every 2 years, I walk away, come back. Walk away, come back. It's just a repeat system. Okay.
And you mentioned about walking away and coming back, and I know that marketing is always going to be a important factor into any business. Now, just like, we mentioned some of the brands that we know, they've had traditionally the same general logo or color schemes or type of marketing. But would you suggest that for a new rising entrepreneur or a person in business to kind of keep themselves fresh and help those residuals and those repeat customers, would it be important, or is it worthy to kind of change marketing over time? And if so, at what point does the marketing need to change?
Well, here's the funny thing about this. Okay, you have. We're gonna stay with your cup for a second. You have this out front, right? You have this out front. Well, what happens is you'll turn around and say, 6 months to a year later, do you know what you say to yourself? You say, you know what? I don't like this lady. I'm gonna put a different lady on here.
Or might add some bling to it.
And you might add some bling to it. But here's the problem. Watch this. Watch this. You ready? See how different that is? Mm-hmm. You did that in 6 months. You know what happens? I'll walk right past it. Mm-hmm. You changed your brand in front of me. Mm-hmm. Got it? You changed your whole brand. Keep doing it. Keep changing. Walmart's never changed. Mm-hmm. Home Depot is still orange. Mm-hmm. McDonald's still got the same French fries. Mm-hmm. They have not changed the box. It's red. They have billions of dollars. Their box is not purple. It's a red box. Period. Yeah. The Happy Meal is the size of a lunch box. Mm-hmm. It's designed that way for kids. It's, you follow me?
Yeah.
So it's the formula. And people change the formula too fast. They want to be, oh yeah, let's do it. Post this. You post so much stuff. You keep changing your brand. So when I go back to your page, it's like, okay, well, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So I advise people
just stick with the original.
Just stop touching stuff.
Yeah. Would you say that there is ever an instance where it would be acceptable to change the marketing idea, or like say for instance, this is something funny and kind of ridiculous, all in the same that I have seen lately, and I don't know why this happens, and maybe you can speak to it. Like going back to like the food franchise, like Taco Bell, we'll use them as a great example. Everybody knows Taco Bell to sell what? Tacos, right? So now, for whatever reason, they have incorporated like chicken wings or other things that are beyond the traditional taco scheme. So, can you speak to that?
Yes. I tell you why. Taco Bell has embedded your brain for the past 25 years. They have the respect to change that and move it around. They're still Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. Got it? Mm-hmm. Period.
So, to answer like the earlier part of the question, so in a sense, it would be acceptable for a brand to incorporate different ideas in their marketing after you solidify,
right? Mm-hmm. We know the brand. Mm-hmm. You can do chicken. You're like, oh, they do chicken now. Okay, it's a respectability.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Of the brand, they can do that.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. All right. So again, outside of marketing, is Google the only like search engine that you all utilize? Or
I'm also a consultant for the satellite business.
Okay.
The people upstairs. So with digital screening around the world, we can place you on from the airport to the bus station. We run about 140 countries. Digital screening system. We can run it block radius. So we can do block to block.
Okay.
City to city. We can do corner to corner.
Okay, and what does that actually consist of? Like billboard?
Yes, billboard, digital, or in screens, grocery stores, music over the PA system. Mm-hmm. It's quite a bit because it's all digital systems.
Okay.
We can place if you have a cooking show, we can get your commercial on the Food Network. If you have a sports show, we can get you on Fox. So we're tied into ESPN, we're tied into Fox, this network, the time with the cable systems. Mm-hmm. So we're tied into a broad audience, from MTV, BET, you name it, whatever network you want to be on, you want your commercial on, one phone call, it happens.
Wow, just like that.
Your life is
so I can take this show and do some things with it.
Oh yeah. No, you want to go to the next level.
For the other entrepreneurs that are out there, or that are somewhere sitting dreaming really big to get their brands out there to the masses of the world. Masses. Yeah. This is what your company...
we can actually make that happen. Because a lot of people we're dealing with are already major.
Right, okay.
Right?
So you already know how to do...
I've been with the NFL for what? Oh my God, this has been 20 years. Baseball Association, we're talking 20 years. Mm-hmm. New York Fashion Week modeling business, almost 30 years. So entertainment for me, I started when I was 21. Okay. I didn't know I was going to be in it. I'm just in it.
Yeah. So let me talk about that for just a moment. I know, again, you're proven to be the mega entrepreneur that they say you are on the streets here. But tell me about like when and how that you started this path of entrepreneurship and into the entertainment field. I mean, you started off young, but what led you there?
I'm gonna speed this up real quick. When I say this, my parents split up when I was like in the 6th grade. Okay. So it's just my two little sisters. So I had to get a job. Okay. So I was on a paper truck, and that's where I started, delivering papers and helping out in that area. But then I started working at the company itself, the paper company itself. But I found myself getting my friends jobs, whether it's lawn service, raking yards, now because I was the kid doing this. So I would bring different people in to go with me. Right? Carry the gas can, that's your job. Push the lawnmower, this is your job. You're going to rake this. And so that's kind of started back then.
Okay.
At 26 years old, because I was married at the time too, from 21 to 26. At 26 years old, in 30 days, I lost the job, the wife, the car, the house, the money, and my business. Like I had a business back then. And when I did that business, I didn't know I was going to be in the music business. I ran into a friend and asked him, like, what are you doing with your life? He goes, I'm in the music business. I said, okay. So what do you do? He said, I got a studio. I said, what's that? I didn't know. And I went up there, and there were him and his dad hammering and cutting his song. And I was like, okay. I said, so what's, he said, man, I just can't afford the lumber. So we met up on a Saturday. I went and bought all of his lumber. And 3 months later, I'm a carpenter. So I built it in my basement.
Wow.
And didn't really know what that was. So I got in the phone book, found out what a studio was, and went and saw it. West End Recording Studio in Kansas City. And so I said, okay, this is what it looks like. So I went home and built that in my basement.
Wow, you built your own studio in your basement.
In my basement.
Based upon gifts that God already had given you to do as a carpenter.
Yes.
And
it spilled over to that.
Wow.
And not knowing what I'm doing, right? And I saw this tag on somebody's car. I said, hey, you a singer? She goes, yeah. I said, I have a studio. I was like, what are you doing, boy? You don't even know what you're doing over there. So when she called, she saw the studio. She called me. She goes, how much studio time? I said, let me call you back.
Because you didn't know.
I didn't know. So I got in the phone book. I called the studio. How much studio time? They said $30 an hour. I called her back, $20 an hour. So every time somebody asks me what I cost, hold on. I get in the phone book, what you cost, and I just brought the numbers down.
Wow.
And anything God gives you, you apply it. And I run through those doors, and that's the best thing I tell somebody. When He gives it to you, shooting. I didn't know I was going to be a shooter. I was an actor first.
Okay.
How
did that come out? Your acting, did that come around?
When I lost the job.
The same
When I lost the job.
Another job or the same job?
No, the same job.
Oh, okay, same job.
A friend of mine, she said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. She said, boy, listen, they're shooting this movie. It's called 9th Street. It's with Kevin Wilmot. I said, I don't know who that is. Just go down there and call this number and they're going to tell you what to wear. So they said jeans and a white t-shirt. Right? So I'm 26 years old. I go down there and there's a big old parking lot. But there was about 200 or 300 guys look like me with jeans and a white t-shirt. I was like, what is this? Right? And another guy knew me. And they said, you know what? We're going to get Montel to play this part. I've never been an actor before. And my part was, I don't smoke or drink, never have. And my part was that I killed let me see what I do. I killed the liquor store guy, and I'm high on drugs.
Oh, wow.
So I had to play that I'm high on drugs. So I had to go get that on the spot. And they drilled me and they pushed me. And that movie was with Martin Sheen and Isaac Hayes.
Wow.
So the sizzle reel has me in the sizzle reel online. So that was
That's awesome.
crazy.
Awesome.
That's why the acting then.
And you enjoyed that from that moment on?
I was doing movies.
Approximately in all this time, because you were early 20s doing.
Early 20s.
So from then to now, like you're like 30ish, right?
Yeah.
Okay, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
How many movies and productions have you done as
Oh
far
my
as
gosh,
acting?
I lost the count.
Oh wow.
It's the people, because what happened was I ended up on the set with some guys and I ended up being the grip, right? And the grip is the most terrible job in the world because you have to take off all that stuff and then they use 2 things and then you got to put it all back. Hurry up, Montel, we got to get to the next set. I'm like, dude, I unloaded all this for one tripod. So I worked in that area. But the acting part was between the commercials and different things. I mean, my goodness, I was with, it was a company with, it was Alaskan Fur, and then I did some stuff with Best Buy, did some stuff with Pepsi. It was just a lot of different things I've done in my career. It's that showing up in the media, right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Right
Ain't
time.
nothing like
It's nothing
being
like
at the right place at the right time.
And then you meet these mentors and people talk to you, and they straighten you out, and they let you know this is what you're doing, this is what you should not be doing. So my success is listening. I'm not the smartest one in the room, especially when it comes to this movie business. That's just too big of a thing that for it to happen. It's too big. So the mentors and was just amazing. So.
Awesome. So you built this studio, this recording studio in your basement. You're now having opportunities to act. How did the two create the entertainment, the artist that you are as well? Because you do music, you sing, and
and so as I'm recording, it's a few artists you guys know.
Okay.
Janelle Monáe, I had her when she was like 15. She came to my studio. It was her and two other girls. So at 15, her dad brought her in mine. And then that's Tech9. Tech9's from Kansas City as well. Okay. And so he was 16. And I was like, man, he's come on miles. But all these 15, 20 people like, dude, you can't do this. I was married at the time. My wife was like, hey, they upstairs eating sandwiches. They all in the refrigerator. It's that thing. Yeah. And so when you're meeting that, and then you see it later, like, wow, I remember. And when you look at him now, it's like, oh, I remember.
When he was there,
right.
And now he's this, right?
And see back then, the artists, the way they carried themselves back then, it was a hunger. And then you run into something that slaps you in the face and say, okay, you need to start really narrowing down and believing this and really helping people, because people are misguided. They have a misunderstanding of what this thing is. This whole entertainment business, they have a misconception. And you can't get mad at the person because they really haven't been.
Right. So
you can't get mad. You pray that they have open heart. So me, I have an open heart to hear. I hear really well. I always be quiet and pay attention, and so that's been my whole career. People check me at the door, like, okay, maybe I'm married, maybe I need to be quiet. That's the whole thing.
Got you. So would you say that your experiences with these young rising artists, rather, is that what encouraged you to become an artist also, or
becoming an artist was just something that happened.
Okay.
I always have bars, but I'm not doing bars a day. But no.
You sure?
Nah, I can't know. But you know what? That was a humbug. My friend Sparkle in Philly, we were messing around, and she was like, yeah, that line dance stuff. Yeah, do that. I was like, all right, yeah. And I never line danced before.
Never.
Never. And I went to bed, woke up, produced the track in my bedroom, did the dance steps in my bedroom, made a phone call. 8 days later, Jungle Slide is what you see. I made some phone calls. Harley Davidson, Kawasaki, Suzuki came in. If you look at the video, you'll see Jungle Slide on the side of the bikes. Team Priest was the #1 draft pick that year. The NFL guy, he came in, gave us his van. Doug Rims came in, the Benz, the cars, the Lamborghinis, the Italian guys. Everybody just jumped in. And so crazy. I had never been around that like that. I get to the set, and there's 500-600 people there, and cars and people and crews, and I was like, oh, the heck am I? But we had young people on the set, and I didn't know how to do a storyboard. They put me in class with a 17-year-old kid. She hollered at me for the past hour. I was like, look here, little girl.
Right.
She was doing this all the time. I was doing this with the storyboard. She's like, that's not how you do it. Please don't do that. I said, she just gave me one more time. But tell somebody. So it's back to that.
Yeah.
Being a student and you become an artist. And I didn't know I was becoming this guy.
But now you're that guy.
Oh, yeah, well,
you're that guy.
I got management over here.
He's that guy, y'all. He's that guy.
Yeah, I'm that. Sure. Is that what I am?
Yeah, you're that guy. And, it's a beautiful, it's a wonderful blessing. Because, even that all jokes aside, I know that you're very humble and, you you don't have your ego on your shoulders because I know
No.
But it's a beautiful thing to be that guy, because so many people out there are aspiring to do different things in different industries, whether it be the entertainment field or just whatever it is that they choose as a career goal, and they want to be that guy or that girl. And it's a journey to get there, and they don't really know how to do that or what spaces to get in. What did you get?
It's here and here. Just please don't take this wrong, because it's the truth. But I'm gonna say this: I never look at how pretty you are. I never look at how the guys you built. Mr. Handsome is 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
We don't look at that part. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about demeanor. Mm-hmm. We in this business, we love demeanor.
Okay.
We don't care that Oprah's your cousin, Denzel, all this stuff that people bring to the table. All these.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring there you go. If you bring a major celebrity, if you bring a major star, I'm going to bring an icon. Mm. So you got to watch who you're talking to sometime in this business.
Yeah.
You could say Denzel, I'll say Harry Belafonte. Mm. I'm not taking nothing from him.
Right.
But I said Harry Belafonte. That's a whole nother level.
Yeah, the whole nother level.
Which was my
respectfully
mentor.
so, of course.
You follow me? So I was mentored by an old school. Mm-hmm. So my brain's a little different.
Right.
And so I think in this industry, too many people are stuck on, I can sing, I can rap, my dad's the mayor, my uncle's the chief of police. What does that have to do with your bad attitude?
Right.
And that's where we're at. And everybody's a star already. Pay me.
Right.
Coming out the door wanting 2 shows.
The millions, right?
And you still got to watch who you're talking to. In this business, you just don't know. Your audience is a few hundred people. Mine is 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. Mm-hmm. So you can't, you do your best because you never know who you're talking to. Right. So humbleness has to stay. Humbleness. Especially with me. And we don't take every client. I don't help everybody. Okay. I do not. I get to pick and choose. Mm-hmm. But I help you. You kind of like a supervisor. She's like a boss.
Supervisor. I run it. I'm the boss.
Yeah, she done told me I'm buying tickets.
Yes, and other things.
Yeah, she done told me.
But I appreciate that, though, because again, that's really good advice. Because one thing that I think about a lot in this day and time is especially about the impact on our young people. Because, a lot of our young people are looking to the entertainers or to the athletes or these big, millionaire stars. Right. And it's assumed that these people became successful overnight. And in some cases, maybe they did. But again, it goes back to the core of who they are. How did you really get to this big place that you are? And I know one of the things that we often talk about a lot here on this show is about, the impact on our young people. Right. And, you could probably, speak to this more in depth because you do work in the industry of entertainment. People want to see, I see you on screen, I see you out there doing your line dance and rapping your song and things like that. I want that life. But we know that in this industry also we have people that live their life, God-fearing and with integrity. Mm-hmm. But then we know that there are many that are not operating in that space. And it's unfortunate that we are more accustomed to seeing the other side of the industry, the negatives or the people that rise with maybe some illegitimate ways to get where they're going. Can you speak to that and speak to, how what you do is impacting what you want to put out for the young people to glean towards?
You have to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, you have to tell the truth. It's like there's something called casting couch. That's the truth. There's things out here that you unforeseen that, and I'm gonna say I know this. If you're trying to be an artist, and I work with major artists, why would I listen to you? Mm-hmm. It's the truth, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. You never did a show before, but you're like, I know I got it. And then this is what I'm thinking. I'm just wait till you finish thinking. Because that's not what we're doing. Mm-hmm. This is what we're going to do. We're going to inline it. Because no one's bigger than the project. Mm. Ever.
Right.
I'm 57, right? So my business associate, Ken Gross, he's a little older than I am. Mm-hmm. And I still, if he says, hey, Mom, okay, yes, sir. It's a respect that I have for this person that tell me, no, we're not. Okay, we're not doing it. Okay, fine.
Right.
You got to find out the respect. It's called respectability of who you're around and what they're able to do. I know who he works with. You know, I know who he deals with daily. So yeah, I might want to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
But when you get a person, their egos get so far away. Their talent, they put the talent before the heart. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And then the young people, okay, that's why I'm here, you there.
Right.
So when somebody says, who can you hook me up with? I said, all the people you don't know. Who do you know, Montel? All the people you don't know. So they think it's a smart aleck answer, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
It's all the people you don't know.
Yeah.
And a person can open for somebody. Okay, you open for that one person. I did 100. So we don't want to start measuring. I'm 57. How you measure with 57? 30 years in, why would you even do that to yourself? I'm going to say this. I didn't do that to myself. I never did that. I've been told enough times. This is how it is. But then you have the names, right? Then you have the names like Liddell. Liddell is a cinematographer. I'm a videographer. I shot scenes of movies. Liddell shot a movie. There's a difference.
It's a difference.
Okay.
Something so simple can easily be misconstrued.
I play piano, right? But you go walk in a church, a guy that play everything, that's a musician. I'm not a musician, right? So we have to correct some of this.
Yeah.
And that's our problem too. All these titles. Everybody's got these titles, but they're really not the title. So we have to help. That's how you help the young people. You tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Okay.
Don't you?
So even with telling the truth though, because it's an unfortunate reality that our young people are being told some false truths.
Right.
Like, I must admit that, particularly in the music industry, especially with all these new rappers that are popping up overnight, it seems like, and they're speaking to all this ungodly stuff, just being honest and frank. And it troubles me and it kind of ails me at times, because it's like, this is what you want to teach other people in your community about shooting folks and dying and taking drugs and disrespecting women and all of that, and that's becoming more of the narrative, and it's being more socially acceptable across the world. Like,
it's a misconception, and some of the major artists I'm talking to now. There's a guy, I can't say his name at this point, but that's what he presented to me when I was in LA last month or so. He presented something. I was like, we're not doing that. He said, Montel, come on. I said, no. I said, let me tell you why. So I said, let's do this mathematics. Mathematics, ladies and gentlemen, watch that. You can take an audience of a fairgrounds. Everybody know what the fairgrounds is. It's the outside event, right? Outside, everybody can go. There's hot dogs out there. There's the water. Everything's out there. You got the baby strollers out there. It's I don't know. It's a couple 100,000 people out there, right? What's this? You come along, right? You say you the artist. You come along, and you got these H ends is in your song, right? And you got on this outfit. There's a two-piece. You like doing all this stuff. I can't put you on stage. 200,000 people. You just missed it because you were bragging about that 150 people in that little club over there in the corner that you and your friends was like you tore down, right? Y'all, you lit it up. I got 200,000 people out here. I cannot utilize you. And the misconception of the music industry is all screwed up, because when you look at like Ice Cube and the Snoop Dogg, they say Snoop Dogg did it. But I said, pay attention. He still has the #1 little league football team. You know what I'm saying? He high all the time. You can't be high all the time and winning. There's a misconception. Have you ever heard of Snoop Dogg going broke? You can't be high and continue to have your money set. This man has 15 jobs. You can't be high all the time and hold those jobs down. And his jobs are valid. They're not regular commercials that him and Shaq doing. So it's a misconception. People need to really open their eyes and really see how this thing works. The man is doing things with Martha Stewart. Are you serious? You can't do episode after episode after episode high. Misconception.
So speak to the fact that again, the misconception is there, and it's unfortunate that our young people take that part of it
Yes.
and accept it as their truth,
Right.
and try to model that
Right.
in order to be successful or to
Right.
be even sustainable in our general communities.
What?
Well,
I'll say this to you young people. When you go back and look at the credibility, right? It's credibility. They put the work in, ladies and gentlemen. Busta Rhymes, Missy, Janet, Madonna, Cher. They put the work in. Dramatics, Barclays, these people put the work in. These kids, they want it. Ice Cube, they put the work in. You got to understand, they did any means necessary for their families. Snoop them, they still got their family. Look at Ice Cube's son, mannerable. He might have a few choice words, You can see the respect on his face. Cube wasn't having it. That's a father. Follow me? So these kids is listening. It's that listening thing. I think you can mold any kid. That's just me. I'm in mentorship. I love it. I don't have any problem with kids. Bring them over here. Bring all the bad ones. Trust me, I'll straighten them out. Because I'm telling the truth. See, one thing about us young people is that you as a parent, you can't sway the truth. That's the problem. You're swaying around and you throwing. No. Do bottom line with these kids. Trust me. They'll come out on the right side. And you nurture that, trust me. But as soon as you start swindling and moving around and they're going to be like, oh, really? So you can do it, but I can't do it.
Right. Because they watch. They're like little sponges. They see everything that you do.
Exactly.
They hear everything that you say. And even at times where you think they're not paying attention, they're paying attention probably even more so at that time.
Because Liddell does really well. He does really well with these kids because he tell the truth. I've seen him say it. I'm like, oh, he said that. I'm like, oh, that sound like me. And we're like twins too, so that's where I am.
I'm glad that you mentioned about your mentoring program. Can you talk about that a little bit as well?
Wow, I've been around that for years. Back in the day, it was DARE program, combat program. Oh, you remember those?
I remember DARE. I have a little black shirt with DARE
really?
Yeah.
Hey, you're 28 years old. You know that.
No.
You young people, she read about it. In my cups.
No.
But no, PAL Association. Back in the day we had something called Project Mom and Dad with John Gales and his wife, and so we was mentoring with parents, the school district, and the kids. Same thing what Liddell's doing here. Same thing. Then when I met Liddell, oh my God, I was just in love with the whole situation. I'm like, oh my God, God placed me in the right place.
Right.
Coming to Memphis.
And Liddell, of course, that's Mr. Liddell Beeman with the Heal the Hood Foundation.
Well, I'm just saying, don't kill and feel.
You representing. So let's talk about that for a little bit, your involvement with there. I know that you and him are really close associates for quite some time now. What led you to want to be a part of that project with him?
Well, you ready for this one? You're not ready. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, her name is, I'm talking about you, Roshonda Buchanan, which is with Find Your Design and Certified Girl Boss and all this stuff, but she kept telling me about Liddell, right? She said, I'm telling you, Liddell, he does this, he does music, he mixes, he's an artist, he can rap, he can sing, he shoots, he's a photographer. I was like, he ain't like me. No, I'm telling you, the guy, he's just like you, Montel. Nope, ain't nobody like me, nope. So, and she stayed on me. When I came here 5 years ago, I'm watching this guy right here. I'm like, man. He got mentor program, he work with kids, parents. He does the toys, I'm like, man, I do all that in Kansas City. I couldn't believe it. I'm listening to his music, the producing. We do the same thing. We're 98% the same.
Wow.
And so I'll say this to Miss Roshonda. I appreciate you because she stayed on me about this Heal the Hood thing.
Yeah.
She did not let up Joe me bananas about Liddell. Talking about how great he is. I said, he ain't that great. No, he's not. Until I came, I'm like, well, maybe he is.
Yeah.
Okay. He's the man.
He's a great guy.
He's a great guy. And so it was so easy to get involved. It's easy to get involved with a guy that just walks around and laugh all day. Like, who can't love that, right?
Right.
And when they in his camp and telling you what to do and say do this, I'm like, okay, you guys go there, grab the broom, It's that respect I have for him. I've got 10 years on it there, but there's a respect. Same thing, young people. If I can do it, and I got 10 years on it, I have my crayons before Liddell, so I still listen to him. I was a head start before he was born, matter of fact, you too. And I still listen. So it's back to that. So getting involved with that, with this whole Heal the Hood thing, and he can most definitely explain all that more in depth of it. But he's tied into a lot of greatness and healing. He's tied into healing people at the same time, and awareness. It's the awareness of what's happening. He loves his city. Yeah. Oh my gosh, he loves it. He loves his city, right?
Yes, he does.
And he has a passion. And I would tell him, like, Liddell, your passion. I said, man, there's levels to this, of your passion. So you're next to Jesus, and so everybody can't get there. So he's hoping that he'll put people in position. And I'll say, Liddell, I'm telling you, when you place people, man, they find out it's much bigger than what he said. So Liddell goes, here's his cup, and then there's this cup for real.
Yeah, trust me.
You already know. You throw you under the bus.
I've been under the bus a few times.
Yeah, that bus, a big bus, ain't just run yours, and they'll be running people over.
But it's a beautiful thing, though, nevertheless, because one thing, and even which is what prompted us, becoming acquainted and working together now. Us working together. It's it all goes back down to your personal ministry and what God gives you. And, we all have our different passions, our own different talents. But when God kind of brings a thing together, I always talk about divine connection. He was divinely engrafted in my life, as well as many of the other guests that have been on the show. Right. And now you as well, engrafted into my life in such a time as this. But it's all working together for a greater good, a greater mission, a greater ministry. I often talk about here on the show about, one of the pillar points of what we do here at T-Talk with Tanya is, we have business owners, entrepreneurs, organizational leaders, spiritual leaders, all of that. But at the core of everything that we do as business leaders or owners is our ministry to give back in some type of way. And it's a beautiful thing that we have all been engrafted together and divinely connected so that we can work towards the greater good for the ministry that's at hand.
Because we can change the narrative of this city.
Absolutely.
If we just start at 10. And we have to help in titles, meaning if a person, this is what they do, we just have to help place people. It's not about getting rid of people, it's placing people in the right area. Yeah. That's all we have to do. When you talk about helping, it's placing these kids.
Yeah.
Something as simple as this. I remember working with the YMCA, and there was just one kid, and they wouldn't let him do anything. So I had to empower him. So I'll never forget that. It was a Friday, and everybody had to come back Saturday for this program. I said, before everybody go, listen, I'll never forget it. And it was Jay. He was probably 10 years old. And I said, I need everybody, when you come through that door, you have to see Jay to get in the building. You have to sign in because he's going to have a clipboard. Do you know we had some issues with some grown folks?
Not wanting to sign
in. They was... And it started a whole problem. People was coming in, and it brought something else to them. So I say every kid can do something. Yeah. Every kid has a talent. He was talented enough to just sign you in. He had it. That's all he did was empower him. But really, he couldn't do a lot of stuff they was wanting him to do. But that clipboard, he was like, oh yeah, you got to see me tomorrow. It did something to that kid. Yeah. And I had to go to because the other women had keys. They was coming to the other side of the building. I said, excuse me, y'all must didn't hear me. You got to go sign in. I'm sorry. We had an issue with that, and that's the thing too. It's like we all have to jump in together and do the right thing. He's 10. You didn't because you didn't want to hear it. Let's do a 10-year-old. Right. So that's the issue too. We can place and we can put it all together, but we can't get everybody to join in and then do this. That's the other issue. We cannot act right, but we need to. You understand? You working with me for sure.
So we've been talking about working together. Before we get ready to close out on today, let's talk about that for just a little while, about just kind of bridging those gaps. And you know, in your mindset, you know, how can we as a collective be more unified? Because, you know, there's so much going on in the world. We understand that, and we know what times that we live in as well. You know, for us that are believers, we understand that prophesied time is coming together. But while we yet have time here on earth, regardless of what's going on in the world, with people dying from, you know, sickness and disease and just murders and other serious things, how can we collectively get more unified and help one another, and again change that narrative for what we see in the masses right now?
To me, it's an easy fix. To me, we just have to place everybody. That's it. We stay on your side of the street. Watch this. Rashonda hired me, Liddell, and her brother-in-law, to do a shoot. She was outside. Now, watch this. I was a videographer to shoot the whole thing, you know, and then Liddell was shooting stills, right? He was behind the scenes. Then Marlon, he was shooting the system itself, the laser itself. She had us twice, 2 different events. We never stepped on each other's toes. Now, I said to say this. All of us shoot, right? All of us shoot. Now, me and Liddell pretty much do the same thing. Liddell didn't have to, he didn't step in and come across me. I didn't bother him, and we got it done. You know why? We respected each other's talents. Even though we all have almost the same talents, we didn't step on each other's talent. I know more than you, you know more than me. That thing, if we could just not do that, right? Stay in your lane. Even though I'm a shooter as well, even though Liddell, well, here we go, I'm a videographer. Liddell's a cinematographer. Liddell didn't say, I'm a cinematographer. That's one scale up from you.
I trump you,
yeah. I trump you, let me do that part, and I'm gonna give you the camera.
Right.
What? That's not what Liddell did.
Yeah.
I had the camera. I know how to shoot. I understand the whole thing. So that thing, we never stepped in. So if we can just do that part, stay in your lane. Respect the area, respect the room. You should not be talking if you're not part of that situation. Period. You should not be talking. And that's just the truth. It's too many chiefs. Oh my God, it's too many. Got it? And that's the problem. If we can just not do that. Simple
solution.
Simple solution. Sit down somewhere.
Stay in your lane, huh?
Stay in your lane.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it. I'm gonna stay over here, so I'm not gonna be like you and go start no line dances. You know?
I've had that. You know? Oh, yeah. And then line dance communities like that. Everybody wants to start their own thing. That's fine. A guy came to me, and I was on tour, and I was in Detroit. He came over to me, and my song just really hit, so it's hot. I'm touring. I'm touring hard. It's like, I did like 10, 15 cities before I got to him, right? It was crazy. He comes to me and said, yeah, man, you know, how many dances you got? I said, huh? He said, I got about 11 dances. I said, okay. He said, man, you got to catch up, man. So in my head, I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. You know, I'm like, he got Larry's song and my song all over the world. You know, I'm just telling myself, right? I'm like, and he said, yeah, man, because to make money, you make money, see, they pay you 200 here and 500 here. And I'm calculating my head. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know, so you don't slam somebody. I'm like, who are you talking to? Do I have a hit record? He worried about 11 dances. I have a hit record. So you get those people that feel that, so you don't buy into it. I respect him that he had 11 dances. You know, that's fine. I didn't belittle him. I still utilize. You know what's so funny? When we did the show, he was one of the first ones I picked. Because he's a talented dancer, even though he over here telling me I'm nobody. Right. You know? Come on, man. You know, I don't buy it. So that's another thing, too. I don't buy into it. I carry zero burdens, sweetie. I don't buy into any of that.
So I'm sitting here thinking and listening, you know, it takes a certain level of humbleness. And, you know, sometimes people can get the big head, you know, and get outside of themselves. But, you know, and that happens for a lot of different reasons. You know, environment plays a factor into that. You know, people just may go from a state of broke to a few extra dollars, so now they feel like entitled. You know, I get that. But, you know, at the core of humbleness, I'll say, you know, where do you pull from? Like, what is your source within your core that keeps you humble, that helps remind you that you're no bigger than or no greater than? What is it that you pull from?
That's easy.
Let's talk about it.
Common sense.
Common sense. Well, you know they say common sense ain't common.
Yes,
so
to me.
For you, what do you think your common?
Because there's no way I'm bigger than him.
Okay, talk about that.
Got that? When he downloads, he downloads. I have a respect for it. Like, we could go to church together, you can read all the words, but I'm the word. Mm-hmm. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. And the word is simple. Listen to me, get it done. That's all I need to know. You following? Yeah. When God downloads it to me. And I don't know, that's just me. I'm born this way. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm no bigger than anybody. I just don't play that role.
Yeah. I know that for me, I know God speaks to me in a certain way, and I know He speaks to everybody differently, however they can tune in and hear. He know how to get people's attention depending on the relationship that you have with Him. But what do you find is the most common way that God speaks to your spirit? Because I know, especially in the entertainment business, you can always hear a lot of voices or a lot of different things going on, or it's easy to get distracted by a lot. Right. But how do you pull that all in, and how do you hear Him the most? How do you hear Him the most? Yeah, like what is it for you that you know, like, oh man, that's God talking to me?
Mine's is simple, man. Mine's is okay. How can I use? Okay, if I'm gonna work with someone, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm gonna work with, if I know that I don't do that, why would I go over there? Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. If I go somewhere and somebody's disrespecting women all the time, but that's my friend. Mm-hmm. What? Well, why am I over there? Mm-hmm. If you already know the stove is hot, I'm trying to have your hand on it. I'm just. That's how I look at life. Yeah. That's how I am, right? Yeah. I don't smoke or drink. It's time I don't put nothing against it. I hang out with some people in the entertainment business, but that doesn't mean peer pressure or peer pressure. I don't smoke or drink. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. So I don't indulge in that. So when he's speaking to you, like, okay, you know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. You hear it. When I go, especially if I go to LA and pick a function, oh my God, they're gonna tell them what's going on. Like, okay, you know what's in there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep, okay. I know what not to do. Mm-hmm. And he done showed it to me. Most of us are shown. Mm-hmm. A lot of us are shown. But we go anyway. That's with friendships and business. It's all the same. Mm-hmm. He shows, so that's how I deal with it. That's just me.
That's good stuff. That is very good stuff. I like it. Okay. And I'm so happy to have you here with us today. I guess I'll let you slide this time, pun intended. So I won't make you do your line dance on today. But for those that might be interested in following you as an artist, or even just, you know, as a person, and maybe might even want to utilize some of your services that you mentioned through your business and get their brands out there around the globe, how can they connect with you?
I can say Google Montel Jones, but just go to the website, OnTelVisionMedia.com. My whole life is over there, at least part of it. It's OnTelVision Media, and you'll get the gist of what I do. A lot's not posted, so.
Not the.
A lot of people. The fun stuff. Well, the Jungle Slide has been posted. I did Bounce It. I did that with Chair Noah here in Memphis, and so with her dance studio. Okay. And that's out there. That was a project, so I haven't really marketed really heavy, but there's some things coming this year. A lot of great things coming this year.
Well, I look forward to your journey.
Yeah, because she's going to be, just so you guys know, one of the next projects, we will be doing a project together.
Absolutely.
For sure.
You heard it here first.
You got moves, right?
I got moves, I think. I don't know.
Did she just pass it?
I don't know.
Did she just pass it? I'm going to close out with the pass it. Did you just do that? Y'all saw that?
Awesome. Mr. Jones, thank you so much for coming and being with us on today. I do hope that you will come back again and share your wisdom and your insight and again with us here on our show. Again, I do definitely look forward to working more with you as the time allows us to.
Yes.
And again, much appreciated for you sharing with our audience on today. So, audience, that is all that we have for today. We thank again Mr. Jones for being here with us. You see, he loves to have fun. And again, I just want to close out by saying it doesn't matter where you go or where you be, just don't forget to bring your tea. And that's total empowerment and anointing.
Well,
thank you for watching our show, Tea Talk with Tanya. We hope you enjoyed it on today. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our social media platforms or visit us on our website at www.ttalkwithtanya.com.